Tinny from Mini Bowl Design, and today I'm out in the front yard. It's a really heavily overcast day, and it's misting and raining. Sometimes rains fairly good, and then it'll just go to misting. Right now it's not doing anything, but it's only 30 degrees, so everything's getting coated with ice. We're having a mild ice storm, and as you can see, some of my trees down the lane here have got so much ice on them that they've bent right down around and hanging right in the way of the driveway. When the weather sweetens up, I'll go cut those trees so that won't happen next time. Now, I just came back from Newport. I went over and I picked up my glasses at Walmart, so I've got my new driving glasses, and they're real good. And I got to use the four-wheel drive in the pickup quite a bit. Without it, I would have been in trouble. I would have been stuck because it's not very good traveling. The roads are really nasty. So, enough of that. Let's go into the factory, and I'll tell you what I did in there this morning. And then maybe we'll go out to the bike shop and do a little short video on the welder. So I came out this morning and, like I do every morning, built up a fire. All kinds of construction debris to build a fire with, and a lot of it was small, soft wood, so it really got a fire going really quick. Really hot fire, warmed it right up in here in no time. And it wasn't that cold out, it was like 28 degrees, so it wasn't bad at all. Beth brought up my list. I had 7 orders today, and had to build a lot of lids. I've really got to just spend a couple of days just building lid blanks and pressing them into lids and get a good inventory of lids, because every day I have to build, like 5 lids. And today was no different. A whole bunch of lids, a whole bunch of cook kits, and all kinds of stuff where people wanted lids. So I need to do that, and I need to build up my knob inventory too, because every time I build lids, and I have to go build a batch of knobs to put on the lids. But it's all fun. It's good stuff. I have a good time doing it. So let's go out in the bicycle shop, and I'll give you a quick demo on the welder. Okay, I got everything hooked up here for a demo. Now this is a Harbor Freight 80 amp inverter arc welder. It's about the size of a big loaf of bread, probably weighs under 10 pounds, cost $85. Plugs right into 110, and I'm using a 1/16 6013 rod. It recommends 3/32, but I'm running the 1/16, and I'm running about, now I'll turn this on. Fan's cold, so it's making a funny sound. About 55 amps I'm running max. That's about the max I run with this rod. So, let me zoom in on the surface here, and we'll see if we can get an arc going. There we go. Now, I'm not real clever with a welder. I get the job done, but this surface is kind of nasty. Okay, let's see if we can get an arc going here. Well, there we go. Finally got a focus on it. Now, because this is a stick welder, and when you get done, you got to chip the slag off. Chip the flux off. And you see, that doesn't run too bad a bead right there. Let me run another bead in close where you can see it, and I'll run another bead right by it. That's the end of that rod. And let it cool down until it doesn't glow anymore. There you go. And that's about all there is to that. Now you can adjust the heat on this all the way up to 80 and all the way down to 10. I don't think I ever go much below 40. 40 is pretty low, even for this smaller rod. So I usually stay between 40 and 55 to 60. Almost all of my welding is 40 to 55 to 60 in there somewhere. Usually around 50. Okay, now this helmet it has a solar cell in it and a knob so you can adjust the darkness, and as soon as you strike an arc, this liquid crystal screen turns black and gives you the amount of darkness you want to protect your eyes. Now, these aren't expensive and they make life a lot easier because you can leave your helmet down and look where you're going to strike your arc. Where with a regular helmet you have to flip it up, get your stick pretty near where you want it, then flip the helmet down and strike it. And believe me, it's worth it. It's like 50 bucks. Welder was only 85. Helmet's around 50. Now, a guy who was using a welder similar to this, I asked him one time, he was a really good welder. I said, what do you do when you have to weld something really thick with that smaller welder? Or with a wire feed welder, which they don't work that well on thick metal. Wire feed welders are only good for, most of the ones I've had, the cheap ones, like 1/8" metal. He says, well, if I'm going to weld something like 1/2 inch, what he did was, he'd take his acetylene torch, and he'd heat the two pieces of metal he was going to weld, heat them right up fairly hot, and then he'd weld them and he'd get really good penetration on those two hot pieces of metal. It's worth knowing, if you're doing something like right in here on the bottom of this kingpin, it's fairly heavy metal. It's like, I've got like a 3/8 block in there welded to another 3/8 piece, and if you heat that up with a torch a little bit, even the propane torch, hotter the better, you'll get a lot better penetration. Just something to know. It worked for him, and I've tried it, it worked for me. And if you want a welder just for building bikes, I'd highly recommend this one. Made by Chicago Electric, which means it came from China, but it's worked really well for me. I've had no problem at all with it. Nice welder. Highly recommended. So, I think that's everything for my welding video. I'm Tinny from Mini Bull Design. Get out and hike. Take a friend. Enjoy the great outdoors. And more important than anything, try to have some fun today. And try to have a really great day. Bye-bye.